I'm Dr. Andrea Sibylle Claussen. I'm an executive coach and a medical doctor specialized in East Asian medicine.
The workshop with Andrea in Mozambique was an eye-opener for me. It started off with anxiety to jump into the deep blue ocean and meet wild dolphins, not knowing what will happen. I'm quite sure that this experience will influence my decision-making in the future.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I attended one of Andrea's first wild dolphin retreats in Mozambique, and for me it turned out to be a very life-changing experience. Life-changing because I never thought that reconnecting myself with nature could have such a strong and lasting influence.
I created I Am Wilderness Leadership Experience because I'm deeply convinced that leaders need to be very well prepared for future challenges. First, the ongoing corona situation with the economic side effects. And second, to lead business transformation towards sustainability with an ongoing climate crisis.
If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
The expectations and challenges are very high and have reached a level that is new, even for highly experienced and senior leaders. Every single leader needs to react to this new reality. This means that leaders need new tools to lead in constant crisis if they want to be successful in the future. The tools we will give you are nature-oriented, based on neuroscience and medicine, and can be applied in your daily life as a leader. My coaching method assists you to find new ways from where you are now towards where you want to be. The I Am Wilderness team is looking forward to meeting you soon. For more information, please go to my website, iamwilderness.de, or send me an email.
Thank you everyone for coming, and Dr. Andrea will be doing her presentation on I Am Wilderness. I had a sneak peek, but it is very, very interesting, so do enjoy.
So, this is a bit disturbing. I'll put it up. Okay. Yeah, so thank you for the invitation, Ivana, and yeah, I'm very excited and happy to present I Am Wilderness, and obviously the wild thing also was an interesting thing that you decided to join even at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm very impressed, and we keep you awake, I hope, with the presentation. So I'm the founder and CEO of I Am Wilderness. It's a very recent created company, and I would like to do this presentation also interactive. So I will give you first a bit of an introduction who I am and a little bit of my story, and then also how I Am Wilderness started. Yeah, and then I just let you know what is inside of I Am Wilderness. What am I doing exactly? And please,
Can I just quickly interrupt? Can everybody just remember to mute themselves? Make sure that you mute so that it doesn't interfere with Dr. Andrea.
Okay. Yeah, so the I Am Wilderness Leadership Experience, I think the name is telling it already. This is a little picture one of my coachees did. It's an interesting split. And so what I do with I Am Wilderness is that I provide workshops for leaders. And I joined the African 99s, I think 2 years ago, and I'm a private pilot. I have a PLH for and rating for Robinson R44. I'm flying near Frankfurt Airport. It's called Egelsbach. It's a small airport next to Frankfurt International Airport. I'm a medical doctor by training, so I did training in general medicine, so I'm a GP. And started very early. By coincidence, I was introduced to East Asian medicine, to traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture already during my studies in medical school in Frankfurt. And at that time, it was in the late 80s. Acupuncture and herbal medicine was something very esoteric, and the Western medicine would not really accept it. But I was treated by a Chinese woman, and I found it very interesting. So the first 20 years of my career were like, I built a practice. I was always a normal Western doctor, but I also learned all the concepts of East Asian medicine. And the last 20 years, I was trained in Japanese meridian therapy. It's a specific technique for acupuncture.
Sorry, can you just admit Sophie? Can you see her admission? Sophie?
I have to go out of the presentation, I guess.
No, if you just slide your cursor right to the top, you'll see her. And it should come down to you and it'll say admit.
There's Sophie and Nele. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Sorry. That's it.
Yeah, so the first, my first actually, there's Tanya. Okay. Okay, there's Faith. Sorry, I'll leave it open. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I can continue. Is it?
Yeah, did your screen sharing go off? Or is it me? Can you all see Andrea's screen sharing?
I can still see it.
Yeah, we can.
You can? What have I done that I'm seeing myself? Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so my first career was a medical career and also specialization in East Asian medicine and Qigong practice. So since 20 years, I'm a practitioner of Qigong. I met a Chinese Qigong master, and I do this for myself to keep my energies in good shape, and it's also good for the body and for the mind. I'm also a free diver, so my passion is the ocean. You will see in the next picture, and I love my motorbike. I just come from a meeting where drove next to Andrea Amberger, actually. I was in Hünstetten and in the River Rhine, and I love music, so being self-employed gives me also the freedom to make music and also integrate it in my work with clients. 10 years ago, I became an executive coach. So I went to INSEAD, it's a business school, and I did a program called Consulting Coaching for Change. So I try to transform my knowledge as a doctor, as a Chinese practitioner, and this is what I do mainly now. I have still a practice where I treat patients, but very on a small scale. But most of my time and energy is that I see clients. And now with I'm Wilderness, with my new company, I specialized in coaching executives and teams in nature. And so this presentation will be mainly about this work and how the story behind. Yeah, last but not least, I'm a mom. I have a son, he's 28, he lives in London. And he studied development management. He lived in Sierra Leone for 2 years, and now he's back in London, and he's very much into sustainable issues. So he's working in the mining industry, but trying to make it a better place. That's the brief thing. And grandma of 3 grandkids. step grandmother for my husband Thomas. We have three little grandchildren. So life is busy and very interesting. So how the idea of I Am Wilderness was born. I just shared with you that I'm a free diver. I have a passion to being in water since many years, and 6 years ago I started doing workshops in Mozambique with wild dolphins, and Ivana told me already that she knows the place. She was in Ponta Douro. So the place I worked is called Ponta Malangona. It's right at the border in the northern border of South Africa. It's a beautiful place, and there are wild dolphins where you can swim with them on dolphins' terms, and it's a beautiful place. So that was basically the first time I used nature with workshops with my clients. I had clients flying in from Germany and introducing the ocean and doing all kinds of personality development, leadership development training in nature. And last year, my husband and myself were freediving in the South Pacific. So my dream was always to swim with whales. So this whale, you can see, is a real whale that I met. So it's a real whale, and I was in the water with this whale. So that was like a life-changing experience for me. And after this experience, it might sound a bit weird, but I don't know if maybe some of you can know what I mean. There was something in me that said, okay, I want to work in nature with clients. This will be my focus. It was such a deep emotional experience, being in the water and being part of this whale. And he would allow us to be with him for 30 minutes. We were just hanging around. We had the clicks and the sound and the singing, and that was for me such an amazing experience. And I remember the night. In the same night, I wrote the concept of I Am Wilderness down on like a draft, and I said, I want to do this, and this is how the idea was born. And I really feel, I mean, who of you have ever swum with whales or dolphins? I mean, this is a really it's a very amazing experience, and I hope we can still do it for a long time. Let me see, someone tries to get in. Let me see. Yes, Nele. Okay. Yeah, getting better with this. So the idea of I'm wilderness, and this is what I'm saying, I have a dream. I truly believe that leaders who are deeply connected with nature can create healthier teams, healthier organizations, healthier societies, and a healthy planet. So my goal with I'm Wilderness is to bring leaders in connection with nature. The assumption is, and the hypothesis is, that through the training, and I will tell you a little bit more about the content of the training, that will be a leadership that is more sustainable, responsible, and authentic. Means that it's really coming from within, that you really believe in what you say and what you do. So that's something that's very important. At this moment, I don't know where in your countries what is happening, but in Germany there's a lot of awareness now that sustainability is the future. But I also realize that there is a lot of greenwashing happening, and so I think it's really important for leaders to really connect with nature. And once you have done this, you will lead in a different way. And I've observed this in the last years, and also as a doctor, I believe that leaders who are leading in this responsible way also create healthier people. I mean, you know, if one of you had once a boss, a toxic team, or any high stress level in the job, it can really make you sick. And if as a leader you have grown and you have developed your value system and your purpose, it's a different way of leading. That's the assumption. So the leadership skills that are promoted or that are trained in I Am Wilderness are related, and now comes my training at the East as East Asian medical doctor. It's basically based also on the 5 elements theory. And the 5 elements theory, who is familiar with this? Have anyone heard about it or had some treatment? Maybe there is. Please ask if there. I need to clarify more. But basically, it's a philosophy. It's a model that is related to physical aspects, but also emotional aspects. The taste. It's a functional health system that is not based on saying, for example, when you have problems in your stomach and you have maybe too high acidity in the stomach, so you get medication and then you just treat the symptom of it. In Chinese medicine, it's more that you see, okay, what's the root cause? So we can see a symptom, but in the system of the 5 elements, we can see as a East Asian doctor, where is the root cause? And then we can tackle this root cause. And what I tried in my experience as a coach, I tried to find personality and leadership skills that are related to the 5 elements. So basically these 5, and I found like kind of the essence of my findings was that presence, connection, intuition, courage, and purpose are very, very important leadership skills that we need these days. I mean, it's always good to have it, but but especially now leading in uncertainty and especially with COVID and the climate crisis, it's very important to be clear about what is the essence or what is really important for myself and what is the way I want to lead or I want to be, I want to live. So especially courage, purpose, and also relying more on intuition, that hearing your inner voice and feeling connected. And if all these aspects are when you have developed these aspects, refined these aspects, also the leadership presence is a different way. So the way you can lead people and they will follow you, they will trust you. That's the assumption of I Am Wilderness training. I created, based on these 5 elements, what I call the 5 marrows of leadership. So you have seen the different aspects of leadership. So connection, intuition, purpose, and courage. And all these elements are part of the training. So when we go out in nature, I have a wonderful partner. She's based in Cape Town. So every day, it's these 5 days programs. So every day, one element is in the center of the experiential learning. So what do we exactly do? And I think what I try to express what we do in the picture you can see here. So this is me, this is my husband. This is actually on the island of Nui in the South Pacific, where we had this incredible meeting with the whales. And what is important in the process of transformation is to let go, to just trust. You can see my husband floating and I'm holding. So it's very important to hold the space and to feel relaxed in nature. And this is what the setting and the setup, the philosophy of the training means, that everything is well planned, prepared, and that you as participants can really let go and trust the process and the coaching. And also that we as facilitators are holding the space and containing whatever emotional aspects coming up, that we can manage this. What is also interesting in working with water is the breath work. So it's amazing how you can control or calm down with specific breathing techniques. And maybe at the end of the presentation, if you're interested, I can also recommend an amazing book called, I think it's called Breathing or Breath. It's by James Nestor. It's an amazing author, and he's also giving advice of how to breathe. And as a free diver, breathing and not breathing, it's very, very connected. It's all about relaxation. So that's one very big part of the training. So what else do we do? Actually, this picture is, I have to explain, this is a cheetah. This is one of the first cheetah in South Africa that was rewilded. So she was born in captivity and gave birth in the wild. And here are the cubs. There are 3 cubs. I don't know if you can see it. It's a bit hard to see. That was also something I really connect with I Am Wilderness. It is very moving to see that the instincts come back as soon as even a cheetah that has been born in captivity, and people have always thought, this is not possible, that the instinct made her hunt, and she's doing very well. And these cubs now are thriving, and they're already much bigger now. So just a side note for the picture. So in the training, what we do is to teach you how to track. And the idea is to use all the senses. And I think for African participants now, I think it's more normal to be in the bush or you have been outside. But for European or Western people, it's something that is not really common. And so it's really, really exciting for the participants to explore the senses, to what you smell and what you're hearing, and calming down. And normally the groups after one day it's like learning to fly. It's so many information that you need to digest when you're out in the bush, and you have to concentrate. And it's the law of nature that is the king, and it's not what you as human may think or want. So that's a very deep experience, sometimes even overwhelming if you're not used to it. What we also teach, it depends a little bit on the group or on the how we design the structure, but of course basic survival skills in terms of, first is the bush cooking. It's also something for Western people. It's very it's something it's really nice, but also a bit overwhelming, working with fire. If possible, even learn to make your own fire. I think it's specifically for women, it's a good experience. It's really hard. Who has done this already once? Making fire with you on your own, Ivana? It's difficult, huh? You can also do it as a team, but it's a very interesting, very archaic experience, how I find it. But it's interesting, and you can use it in someone wants to get in. Wait a moment. Okay, Yolanda. Okay, good. Welcome. Yeah. What is also very important in the coaching setup is that it's not only the experience, because of course you can have a safari, or you can go in the wild on your own. But how I do it is that there is this preparation phase, that there is coaching, there's an interview up front, in some programs there's also a medical checkup that people are fit enough to go out. And then we'd work on the goals and what is really, what can, it's about letting go or letting come something new. And so there's a specific process before and after the experience. And I think this is something that normally does not happen. And I think it's very useful. I don't over design it, but I find that it's very useful for the participants, especially when there are events like when something happens or unprecedented happened, and the hypothesis that nature also shows or mirrors aspects of self. So whatever happens is mirroring on also your own reaction, can give you data and insight about yourself, and maybe also giving the initiation of change for or making a decision to change something in your life. So as I said, goal setting and monitoring is important. What is also very, very powerful, of course, is the peers. I mean, the participants in the group. I think it's something very powerful, being together, sitting around the fire. I love the method of the talking stick. I mean, I think in Africa that's very common that you know this by culture, but yeah, again, in Europe, this is a new thing, that once you have the talking stick and you're allowed to talk and nobody's allowed to interrupt, and you just learn to listen, and whatever is there, you don't comment and you don't judge, and it's just, you can just share. And it's a very powerful instrument of reflection and empathy and listening, deepening listening qualities. That's a very, very important aspect of leadership development, is deep listening. Any questions from your side so far? Are you good? Okay. So yeah, this is an upside down dolphin from Mozambique. So the ocean experience in Mozambique and Cape Town, and especially in Cape Town, the also swimming with the seals is also a very powerful experience. What we teach people with, especially in Cape Town, I have a cooperation with the I Am Water Foundation, and it's a free diver. She's called Hanli Prinsloo and her partner, and they're doing also ocean experiences and free diving, basic free diving training, breath work with kids from the townships. It's a great project. You can look it up. It's imwaterfoundation.org, I think. And it's about that young people, even when they live next to the ocean, they never go in the ocean, or they even sometimes never go to the beach. And I think it's great to introduce the kids to the beach and to learn to float. So they have wetsuits. It's a similar setup that you just saw in the picture, and they get breathing techniques, and they discover a little bit of sea life. Well, you can see in Cape Town the seals, but you can see all kinds of beautiful, it's not far, it's just a few meters in the ocean. It's not dangerous, especially in Simonstown. There's a beautiful spot there where you can do a little bit of snorkeling. And so the kids also learn awareness of not throwing away plastic, and just being kind to or being creating an awareness. So it's a beautiful program. And Hanli and Peter, they're also involved in an ocean day, teaching breathing techniques and free diving basic training. So that's really interesting, very exciting. What is also interesting is team workshops in Europe and South Africa. In the moment, I'm basically stuck in Europe, but in Frankfurt, so I can't really travel to Cape Town. I have a home there. I have a second home in Komiki, so we have a house there since 7 years. So I miss it a lot. On the other side, I'm trying to scout a lot now. I'm traveling in Germany and Austria to find specific nature places where workshops can take place, especially now when we have a lot of virtual teams. And once in a while, you just you have to meet as a team. So the workshop program is especially designed for teams for team building and to get a feel for each other, what you can't get virtually. So that's starting, and but still it's a little bit quiet in the business, because companies are still in a little bit of paralysis and in uncertainty. So, but the responses so far is very good. The interest for these kind of experiences. Yeah, what is also included is the sound journey and healing ceremonies. So as I said, I'm like a musician playing different instruments, and here you can see the djembe. I learned to play the didgeridoo. That is a very powerful, also ceremonial instrument to ground, and it's also using the breath. So it's an amazing instrument, and we integrate it in the program of really coming into your body. So we are all a lot in our mind and our head and mentally very busy. Always say we are human doings, not human beings. So the sound is a method, is a possibility to really sink deeply in your body, and it's a beautiful experience. So whenever you have the possibility of a sound journey, and I think some of the African colleagues probably have done this already, but it's in Europe it's not so common. Yeah, here you can see one of my first groups in Mozambique. So it's about deep sharing, it's about letting go, letting come. Yeah, so here the participant, this lady, you can see we shared one. We had to pick one picture and then sharing where we are now and where we see ourselves in the future. And yeah, so you can see the parachute group, but it's a very beautiful setting, being in nature and sharing the experiences. Yeah, and what is really not to be underestimated is to have great food. So we try to work, being more or less vegan or vegetarian, and cook with a conscious level, but not over design it and be pragmatic with it. But I think it's very important in these kind of processes to be very much nourished, very well nourished. That you don't need to, think about shopping or cooking. So it's all provided, and it's healthy food. And so this is also a big part of relaxation and also cleaning the body. That's very important. Yeah. So what's next? Yeah, so I'm hoping to be in Zambia in June 2021. This will be the first time with a group in Zambia. It's quite in a remote place, and let's see. We have some participants, some courageous German people who already applied, and let's see what COVID, what the situation is. So what will be, but I'm very excited. This is one of these workshops that I feel is it's a specific setting, really in the wild, being very in a remote place and enjoying nature. And I'm very excited that I'm doing this next year. And the other thing I want to share with you is the initiative I created last year. It's called Leaders for Sustainability Initiative. And last weekend I did my first conference, outdoor conference, And the setting is that the group does an experience in nature. So we had a forest and we had a nice introduction to what is happening in nature, how the climate is affecting the trees and the animals, and that how all belongs together. So we did kind of a deep dive into this, and 2 hours was not enough to cover the complexity. So it was really a big learning for the group. And after this, we had 2 speakers talking about. One speaker talked about the mobility of the future. So what will happen in the future? How can we reduce the CO2 emissions, and how can this look like? It was really interesting talk. And also the second speaker was about quality management. What is quality in the future? How we will look at quality or supply chain in terms of supply chains. Also with the focus of sustainability and human rights and all these kind of things. I think there's a lot of things that now leaders realize they need to change, but it will take time, but I think we are on the way. So my initiative will hopefully contribute to awareness and to building a community of leaders who is going deeper into specific aspects. So it's only starting, so everyone is invited to join with ideas or just joining. So there will be a conference in Cape Town in March next year at Amani House in Hout Bay. And as I said, if you have an idea or you even want to be a speaker in terms of speaking about a topic that you are interested in, or that you're a specialist, and it would be also interesting to hear about being a pilot these times. Is sometimes, I don't know if it's how's in your countries, but in Germany it's like these are these CO2 emission people, and it's a bit of I think I don't want to open the discussion for this. I think it's in the room. It's something that even talking about being a helicopter pilot or private pilot is like, oh, you're flying for fun. Okay, so why do you do this? But I think that's maybe some aspects we can share after the presentation. So the Amani House, this is actually the conference room. It's all natural. It's the kind of a plant climate, like air conditioned through plants and air. So it's completely sustainable. So there are these little huts where you can live. It's really lovely. It's an amazing Dutch lady. She built it. There is a vegetable garden, and everything is sustainable, and she's completely independent of the energy and water. So she's it's an amazing concept, and I think it's nice to be in a place and to see how this can work if someone is really dedicating energy in it. Yeah, after this leadership conference, there will be a workshop in the nature reserve, and I think the design is now of just finding people who want to join on a very low. I haven't done the cost now, but it will be something more about being together and exploring the concept, and that we keep going. That I don't want to wait for clients from Europe coming, but I will be in South Africa, hopefully. But I think I have a good feeling that March will be more open, I hope. And just being together in nature, that would be amazing. So if you're interested, just let me know. Yeah, so this is the website, imwilderness.de. I also have a podcast. It's called Coaching in Nature, and so far with 3 episodes. One is about the wild wolves in Germany, so I think that's a nice one. Also one about relieving stress in nature, and how nature is working on the human body and mind. Yes, thank you so much for your attention, and yes, I'm very open now for questions or any thoughts or whatever comes to mind. Please share.
Thank you, Dr. Andrea. Thank you so much. You can stop sharing your screen, and everyone can sort of unmute themselves and then just raise your hand if you want to say something or have any questions. If you'd like to ask anything, go ahead.
Thank you, Andrea, for such a wonderful presentation. And I'm not sure whether I have so much of a question or as much as a query. And I was relating all your experiences that you created for yourself as well as your clients to EMF, electromagnetic frequency, because the ancients and Indian theology have basically taught us that we have energy within us. If we relate that energy to modern day science, you could basically say that it's electromagnetic. So basically all the experiences that you have created are pure EMF frequencies with nature. So what we are kind of being constantly bombarded with in our cities and our everyday life is a false EMF. It's a digital EMF, which is kind of knocking us off balance, if you want to say. So I was wondering if you tapped into this through your experiences, and if you can relate, and if you can, have you experienced any increases or decreases in the shifts of these energies? Thank you.
Thank you. I think with this lens, you can definitely have see it in this way, that nature, once you deeply connect with wild nature, especially with dolphins and whales, I think this is also something that is the most powerful encounters, maybe also with the gorillas. I went to Uganda a few years ago, and hopefully soon being back. But this is something that I believe as a holistic doctor, that it definitely helps transform energies. It's like a reset energetically. Sometimes people who have the experience, they cry, or there's something like an outburst, an emotional outburst without reason, but it's a bit of an overwhelming once the frequency of the energy kind of synchronizes with the body. So that's also why we use these ancient instruments like the didgeridoo or the drums, or something that is, I mean, it's all in us. We are archaic beings, and so nature and these kind of ancient techniques can help building or just synchronizing with this energy, and it's like a cleanse, I would say. I wouldn't so my approach is not to over design it or over intellectualize it. My experience is more that people get it, even if, you know, there's a theory behind it. Also in the Qigong healing practice, I also believe that there are kind of electromagnetic phenomena that are just so little that we can't measure them yet. But definitely people can feel warmth, they can feel tingling, they have specific body sensations when something is happening that is in a positive way. So it's I truly believe in these kind of phenomena, and there are different words and terminologies and different from different fields, but I think what we describe is this overall phenomena. I think there will be nobody in this world saying that nature is harmful, something being nature is not healthy. Yeah, so I think there's a common understanding, and I think now maybe there will be some more scientific research about it, although we can clearly see the changes. I hope this makes sense of my longer answer.
Safi, you want to say something?
Not really. Just, it's really an inspiring presentation, Andrea. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Is there anything, I'm curious because we have a little time, when you say it's inspiring, is there also for the group, is there anything that also interesting for me, knowing what especially inspires you, or what is it exactly?
Like you brought all your hobbies into, you connected everything, and I scuba dive and I love traveling, and you just think of it as vacation, but it kind of comes into your life, how it affects you and how you can turn it around to be helpful in your career, in your personal life, as well as in your professional life. So this is really how you brought it around, was very touching and very useful to apply to your day-to-day life.
Yeah, thank you.
I like to say I like the concept of the food. Well, the thing is, they do say, and Nivedita is a vegetarian, so she will also agree with me that being light, you know, when you eat light, when you eat vegetarian food, you are very light in your body, and you can raise your vibration very quickly. When we eat meat, it takes 24 hours to 48 hours to digest. So sometimes you're not able to raise your vibration to feel around you as much as you would when you're lighter. So that's wonderful that you do include the vegetarianism in the meals and stuff like that. So that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Yeah, Andrea, I want to ask you, tell us more about the talking stick that you spoke about, you know?
Yeah, the talking stick is a technique that is applied to connect a group, and especially when you're sitting together after like a deep experience, or let's say we have done like a dive with the dolphins, or having experienced something in the bush, in the walking safari. I think I didn't mention that I do only walking safari. So we're not sitting in the car, but we're really exposed. That's a complete different feeling than being in the Jeep. So after these days, these longer days, there's a session just sitting together, and this talking stick, or can be a stone or an object, is lying. The concept is it's lying in the middle, and so the group is sitting around, and someone is whoever. There is no specific rule, can take it, and the moment you have the object in your hand, you can also you can say something, but you can even take it and be silent. But at least it is part of what you express to say, and this is very powerful because it's not a conversation. It's nothing that you give tips, or you have this great idea to share, or why you would help this person, but it's just about being. So that's why it's powerful. And when you're ready, you put it back in the middle, and then you can sit, and the next person is invited to take it. You don't have to. So it's like a very powerful, free-floating experience. And many people are very nervous when it's silence in a group. So they become, what can I have to say, or so. So to accept even the silence has something, to say, and that we can lean into the energy of a group. It's very powerful. And for many people, they have done this. It's an ancient technique, basically, to connect people.
So basically, it's something to learn about how to listen.
Yes.
To improve your listening skills.
Yes, listening skills, connection skills, and a non-judgmental space. So it's a safe space, creating a safe space that everything you say is held, so there's no judgment or any comment. And also the rule is, even if you walk out, you're not allowed to say, for example, oh Nif, what you just said, I have this idea and I want to tell you this. So the rule is to keep it in the circle. Yeah.
Wow. And also now you have to tell us something about your free diving, because you have to tell us in a few words. How do you manage? What has been your longest free dive? And how difficult is it? Can people like us, some of us are fond of diving, or we've just started. So can we learn free diving?
I would love to inspire you to start tomorrow. It is just amazing. Yeah. And you start very little. So you just, because with the scuba, I also have like paddy, but I feel the gear, it's fiddling around with it, and I love it just to dive and to do the equalization. And I do train in the pool. But I love the best. I mean, basically, I started in Mozambique, and I just said that Laura also was in Ponta. So so she knows. She wrote it in the chat. So and I was inspired by being with ocean animals, and it's not a matter of depth. So my personal best is 20 meters. By training, that's already after 2 years of training. But everyone who is quite healthy can try it out. You do it with a partner, you don't do it alone, and you just try, you do your duck dive technique. It's also a bit of training, but if you have in any case some diving clubs or diving places, they have free diving instructors, and it's beautiful. Just try it out. I'm passionate about it. I train with an online free diving trainer. And my personal best now with a dry breath hold is 5 minutes. And for me, it's also something that is a kind of a meditation. So I shifted my meditation practice towards the breath hold and the static, whatever I can do with the body in the water. So that's for me a full body experience, meditation experience. I'm very passionate about it. I could talk for hours.
So Andrea, are you, sorry, go ahead, Holly.
I just have a quick question. Could you tell us really quick a little bit more about your healing ceremonies? You just mentioned it. Like, what's an example of a healing ceremony?
Yeah, it's, for example, sometimes you have body reactions, and then you can have pain, you can have also feeling bad in your stomach. That's a kind of a regulation. So what I do then is I have specific techniques, not only with needles, but also with like pressure points or a specific, it's called gua sha fa. It's a Qigong healing technique, like also going with an object and cleaning the stuckness. So sometimes definitely it's a healing reaction, and the ceremony can also be that the people are also in the room and holding the energy for the person. There's also ceremonies about we can do like something walking meditation that you go like a very, very slowly in a group. You don't talk to the other person, but you do this in a group, and then build a circle. So there are different kind of rituals we do, but the healing part is sometimes also when there are reactions, we can handle it. So it's something that is very important, that the group and also me as a facilitator can handle also some physical reactions. Yeah, sometimes it's old wounds, it's old pain that comes up, because nature, I always say, because sometimes when I say this, people are like, oh my God, but it's, the good thing is when you get in this frequency with the earth, you can handle it. So whatever comes up it wouldn't come up if you wouldn't be also able to hold it. Does it make sense? So it's nothing, it's something that is then can be allowed to show and to heal. So that's an interesting phenomenon. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Sorry, Andrea, I was going to say, do you practice breathing techniques or yoga breath before you do your free diving? Is that help as well to sort of extend your breath underwater?
Definitely, yes. What we do as free divers is definitely the stretching part. That's, of course, the stretching of the lung possibility. I mean, that you can just breathe in deeper. And there are also pranayama techniques from yoga you might know, or the one with the nose, and also stretching the ribs. So this is included. I do this too. Yeah, that helps a lot. But also calming down, and it's breathing is amazing. And I can send Nestor, who wrote a book about free diving and also about breathing. So that's really interesting.
That'd be great. Thank you. Anybody else? Anything? I wanted to say about the silence thing when you were talking about silence. I had to fly to the Okavango Delta just before the October conference, and last year before we had the Malawi conference, and I was going crazy. But the peacefulness that we got from the Okavango Delta, just being in the game park, when they say silence is deafening, it was so quiet. And you could hear every leaf and every branch, and the experience that you get in the wilderness is just absolutely amazing. If you ever had time in the wilderness with no cell phones, nothing, just nature and yourself, you really do come to learn so much about your inner self. So if any of you have not really had that experience, I would highly recommend you to do it. And I just want to quickly say that Dr. Andrea will be attending our Rwanda conference, and we'll be talking a little bit about what she's talked about today, which will also then be after that the gorilla treks and a bit of the nature stuff that we'll be doing as well. So just to let you all have a quick know about that.
Good.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
Yeah, I just wanted to, when is that Rwanda conference?
It's October 2022. It's still a while ahead, but I have to still start planning way in advance because it's Africa. Anything can happen. And of course there has been COVID, but I tried to sort of make it at least 1 year, you know, I still think that things will still take time to pick up by next year, so I've sort of put it to 2022. When I have the exact dates, I'll let everyone know, but it's definitely in October because they've told me that's the best time for gorilla treks and for the walking and stuff like that. So, and the safari, so it'll be around October.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to mention to Andrea that there's such a difference to be swimming in the ocean versus swimming in a pool, don't you think? There's so much energy in the ocean. So you should come to Hawaii and swim with our whales.
So much on my list. I would love to. Yeah.
Please come. I'd love to meet you.
I would love to go to Hawaii, but I'm scared of your waves.
Well, they're not always that big. Actually, on the Big Island, we don't get those big waves like they do on Oahu.
Okay.
I think you also have also places where you have dolphins around that you can frequently meet, I think.
Andrea, I don't know if you've ever done your scuba diving in Eritrea and the Red Sea. It's a hidden treasure. So
really?
These days, yeah, it's.
After this session, we should all share the secret. Please send Ivana or to the group all the secret diving places, and then we go there, and we don't tell any other person.
Yeah, you should come to Daha too.
I've done the Red Sea on the Saudi side. I've done it on Egypt side, but not because I'm from Eritrea, but because it's been closed forever for tourism.
Yeah.
It's so untouched. You don't even have to put your just scuba diving. You get the best.
That's amazing. Yeah, we need to talk.
One of the other very nice places is the second biggest reef in the world is Roatan, Honduras. The little island over there. It is amazing. There's some beautiful places to swim with the whales and the dolphins. And also in Malaysia, there's an area called Simpang Island, which is very, very, very cornered off by military, and you have to get special approval to go there. David Attenborough actually did a whole, documentary about it, but it's called Simpang Island, and it's really, really teeming with wildlife. So some nice places.
And I think,
we can't swim. If we can't fly these days, then we go under and float.
We have to start going under, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful to talk about ocean experiences. Huh? The energy goes up immediately. It's very special. Yeah. And
I swam with the dolphins in Roatan in Honduras, and that was one of the most amazing experiences. And I was hoping to find the little dugongs. Did you ever see the dugongs in Mozambique? Because I haven't seen them yet, but they are there. I was hoping to swim with them, but they never turned up. So.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. And if you have any questions, you can connect with Dr. Andrea. We have her website, and I can send you all the presentation. We will have it recorded, and we'll be sending it out to people. So thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you. Holly, yeah, it was great to see you all. Yolanda.
Nice to see everybody. I know we're all the Africans here. Yolanda, Laura, Andrea, Nivedita, you didn't come, but most of you will know Nivedita is the governor for the Indian section.
Nice to meet you, Nivedita.
Yeah. So have a nice weekend, everybody. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Erin.
Bye-bye.